everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so much better. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sabrina and I am a witch. I'm a shamanic witch, sometimes called a hedge witch. And I do a variety of things here. I share my experiences and my positive results and things that I'm learning. So today's video is going to be about positive self-talk, affirmations that we use in our spell work. Spell work involves a meditative time, gathering supplies, deciding what you want to do, looking for the right phase of the moon, which, by the way, today the moon is transiting in Leo. It's not the same thing as whatever constellation the moon is sitting in at the time. That's different. And it also is, aside from the phase of the moon is waxing. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, I do moon transit reports there. Sometimes confused with where the position that the moon is in only by astrologers. I don't think they take the time to really read my posts where I use the word transiting. I'm also finding out that some astrologers don't necessarily consider the transit of the moon because it's moving so quickly through the signs. They don't consider it major influence. So some of them don't even, I think, really even know about it. But we use it in a magical way. For example, a few days ago, the moon entered Cancer and I realized that I was feeling under the weather and I was going to have to listen to really what my Cancer moon was trying to tell me. And that is, as much as you'd like to go out and do DoorDash, the weather still sucks. It's been below zero for many, many days. And then when it goes above zero, it's like 25 above zero, but there's a strong wind. And so I got sick. So I put myself to bed early. So if you'd like to follow me on Twitter for learning about how to work with moon transits or recognize why you're feeling a certain way, then follow me. I have 717 followers over there now, and it is at Casting Cauldron. So in our spell work, when we get together our phrases, right, our spell, our words of what it is that we want to achieve with this working. Oh my goodness. Sorry, the cats really act up when I get active. Jay, get down from there. Just on the top of the bedroom door. That's not familiar. We get a spell book or we decide what we want to say and we write it down and we create a petition. It doesn't have to rhyme. We just write a request of what we want to happen, or we write something very lengthy, or we make something that rhymes to help get us into a trance. We really do work to get into an altered state. And if you haven't practiced meditation, I recommend that you work with spells, create a spell that rhymes, and repeat it over and over again to really get you into that alpha state. Now, that is self-talk or positive self-talk. The spoken word is very powerful. And for me, it's just really worked something close to a miracle at certain times. But for people that are starting out, perhaps if you're a beginner, you don't really understand, it's really not quite enough to meditate on what you want and look at a picture. You really need to affirm and claim verbally what it is that you want. Why? Because this is going to energetically charge your spirit body with that frequency, like a radio dial tuning into a certain radio station. And this sometimes has to be repeated over and over again. Now with the vision board or tarot, if you use a particular card in tarot, I believe I've talked about getting a car for me and my children, and how the three of us agreed on a car that was like a nice little car, 4 doors, and a trunk, a working air conditioner, a working heater, so that I could take them back and forth to their extracurricular activities. And so then we decided on a color, so we drew a car, and then we colored it, and all 3 of us were involved, and I put it on my altar, and we would think about that, and I would see it every single day, every time I was in the bedroom and when I lay down to go to sleep at night. And then within a few months, when the tax return came, I told them to not be angry with their father, but to, of course, support me when I was going to approach him with the idea that we not just take the refund that year, but go get a car, a second car. There had been a time when he was working out of town, and I had to walk in the winter with my 2 kids to the bus stop because he took the car. And he knew it was hard. He'd heard about the stories of people picking us up. I don't think he felt that great about it, but, you know, I told him, look, the buses don't run every 20 minutes in this town. They never have, and I don't think they ever will. Everybody's got 2 cars. So we went to, I said, if we could go to this particular dealer, I have found this little car. I don't know. I think it says it's green. And I said, it's a good price. You know, it's about what we've got for our refund. If we go at the end of the month and at closing time and we negotiate, right, at least 10% off the price because we're giving cash. So that's what we did, and we drove the car, and the kids were so happy because I had a car that was a clunker, and we had to basically give it away. I think, yes, the cash for clunker deal, I think. I don't know. But anyway, it was gone, or wasn't working. Oh yeah, we had 3 cars in the driveway at one time. So we got the car, and sure enough, they took the cash, and they took off the tax and the license, and all we had to go do was pay for registration. So, oh boy, was that a happy day. I hope those kids remember. Now, when my father was a young boy, staying with my great aunt, who was his aunt at the time, my grandmother's sister, he wanted a bicycle very badly. And that's a big part of this, too, is your desire. Why is it when I get on video, something tickles my nose? I'm drinking lemon water to detox. My father wanted a red bike. Now, red is a very good color to use for thinking about what it is that you want. And he just kept concentrating on this red bicycle. Every night, he kept visualizing it, seeing himself riding it. And then sure enough, for his birthday, they got him a red bike. Now, he had been receiving opposition about it. Oh, no, we don't have the money. We don't want you to get hurt. It was basically no. Now, I don't know if they were expecting his mother to buy the bike or what the deal was. But he said, I decided I wasn't going to leave it to chance, right? And I wanted to make sure that they actually did decide to get me a bike. So, yeah, you know, visualization can be very powerful, for sure. It's a big part of a magical practice. However, if you haven't developed your visualization skills yet, you can draw a picture like I did with my 2 children of what you want, or you can cut out a picture. Now, this is a Toyota RAV4 SUV, and this was a process of me deciding what it was that I really wanted. When I was in my mobile home, I knew I needed a second form of transportation And I needed one that was really going to be low maintenance. And I think I told you why I've learned about Toyota from past experience years ago. But I researched on YouTube, and I remembered things that I'd heard, from other people about Toyota and about the Camry. And then my daughter had a friend who would pick her up and bring her home in a late model Toyota Camry. And they put her in that car because they knew that it was reliable, and the father would check it out from time to time in the garage. And so I had decided I was going to have to get a Toyota. Now I knew that if I ever started up my business again outside the home, I was going to need a backup plan. I was going to need a second mode of transportation, possibly a car with a lease, some capital to restart my business, money to either have groceries delivered or buy takeout. You've got to free up your time. You've got to delegate, especially when you're by yourself. So now I really would have liked to have had an SUV, and I still do. It's very difficult to put things in my back seat of my car that are, like pieces of furniture. And it's just, for me anyway, from time to time, it seems like I'm either going somewhere or I'm buying something and it's in a box, and I just want to get it because it's a great price. And there's really no room in my car. If I wanted to take some of my supplies, boxes of supplies and some equipment over to my new salon space, I could throw that in the back of the SUV rather than waiting for somebody that has a truck. So I printed off an orange. Orange is also a very good color that vibrates high. Toyota RAV4. And I kept this on my dresser. And I could see it from across my bed when I was in my studio apartment a year and a half ago. And I had been walking a lot. And I felt good about it. I was maintaining the weight that I had lost and kind of breaking a sweat. And then I got a scooter, so then I wasn't walking as much. But then I got an assignment across town, and taking the bus became extremely depressing and long. So I thought, you know what, I've been really good with my money. I still do have some money. I was working. I still do have some money saved. I know how to go negotiate for a car. From time to time, I would look at this dealership in town that I had already purchased one car from, and they had cars for $5,000 or less. And so I'm laying in the bed one day, and I'm looking on my phone. I thought, well, let me take a look again and see if maybe they've got a Toyota. At that point, I was ready to buy anything because there were some things going on that bus that I just didn't want to be around anymore. And sure enough, there was the late model Toyota Camry, similar to the one my daughter's friend had, and one that they had about a year earlier that I went in to test drive, but I couldn't get it. So now it wasn't the RAV4, it wasn't an SUV, but it was a Toyota. Now, was I affirming? No, I wasn't. But I had made a decision, and I had been thinking about it for months. I was walking from about June, from the time that I moved into the studio, until February when I bought the car, off and on. I was, of course, calling Lyft. Lyft had come into town, thank goodness, so that was my alternate form of transportation. And I got tired of that. It's not cheap. And I kind of ran out of friends to refer, to get a discount off my rides. And so I went and it was dirty and the springs weren't working and the window was broken on the right side. So I offered a few $100s less and they took it. And I used that money to get new springs, get them installed, and I still haven't gotten the window fixed yet. Now the car was also really dirty. They had probably just got it on the lot from auction. And so I mentioned that as well. I've spent several months, spot cleaning it from time to time, and I've had to get new car mats. But I haven't had a car payment now for 2 years. I bought it in 2020. Yeah, 2 years now. And it was Friday the 13th in February that year that I had driven my car to my work for 5 days, and then they said, school is closing, your future assignments are canceled, and then I found out we were in lockdown. I lost my job. So I was not in danger of losing my car this time. My previous car had been taken away, and I haven't had a car payment. That's an incredibly huge relief. And I had learned in college that a car is really a liability. It depreciates the moment you take it off the lot and, you're putting miles on the car. So I would say, really, if you're not wealthy, seriously consider looking at a late model car and saving up a few $1,000s to pay cash. I've only had to replace the radiator. I got an oil change yesterday. New car mats a month ago. And then I put in the new springs. And then I had to pay for a new license and registration. And that was basically the $300 that I had saved by negotiating. They wanted $2,000, I offered $1,700 cash, and they took it. Probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. Now, again, the only affirmation I think that I was making in my mind was, I really want a Toyota. My second choice would be a Honda, but I really want a Toyota. So eventually decide what it is that you really want, even if you have a second choice. Print out a picture and have it where it's going to be visible where you are, whatever room you're in most of the time. And if you lay next to your bed for a while before you go to sleep. So I really didn't do a spell. I did imagine myself driving a Toyota RAV4. And what's interesting is that one day I fell off my scooter and I had to get a ride home, and the man who picked me up had an orange Toyota RAV4. So this is, you can call it the law of attraction, right? This is what attuning yourself to that frequency will happen. Now, obviously it was, aligned. I got aligned, and that's one thing that this car came to me as. But for me, whatever the powers are that decided it, I think because I had been really thinking a lot on my daughter's friend's car, the champagne-colored, gold-colored, late model Toyota Camry, and I had driven one like that at the car dealer. Now, he had also told me, we get these in from time to time, but when they do, they go very fast. So for me, this might not have been a car that came in at that particular dealer for a price that I could afford. So, if there had been a Toyota Corolla or a Toyota, I don't know what else, I probably would have gotten that. So it's more like a devotional. Now, one thing I recommend, that I did have every single night while I was sitting on the sofa doing whatever, even watching TV, was a candle. The flame of the candle activates our psychic centers. And then it will probably have you imagining or dreaming that you are driving that kind of a car. So I would definitely try to imagine yourself sitting in the kind of car that you really need, okay? Kind of car that you really want. That will make it more real. But you do not have to continue to recite the affirmations or the rhyming affirmations every single night until you get it. Candle magic is very powerful. So that is how it worked for me. Now if you see here, I do have the, looks like a Valentine setup. I wanted to make a video last night, but I didn't. So that's why I have this set up here. I was going to talk about Saturn, but that wouldn't have really fit this. So that's really all I have to say about this particular way of working. If you have a comment or you have a question or you have a similar experience where you have done this, where you really just focused on a picture of the thing you want with a candle and you saw it every single day and then you finally got it, or something very, very similar, then please share that. Let other people know that it works and it worked for you. That's it for now. I think I'm going to make a video. I don't know if I'm going to make another video today or not. But that is it for now. Take care. I will see you later.